Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting Sparks Toyota, and I'm checking out a 2021 Toyota Corolla in the SE trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 225/40 Dunlop tires, wrapped around 18-inch alloy wheels with a gloss gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rudders in the front and solid rudders in the back. The name of this color is Blizzard Pearl, and it's a really impressive white color. Hopefully you can tell here with the sun shining on it. You can tell it's a nice pearl coat, not just a regular white. So here in the front, this grille area is a gloss gray, like the wheels. You have some accent lighting here. Right in here's an accent light. You also have accent lights here, right in this area. These three kind of like L-shaped accent lights. They're not very bright. At nighttime they look fantastic, but during the day they're not super bright. There is some gloss black bezels right in here. It's a bezel. These are all LEDs. You also have LED headlights and a projector tube for your low and your high beams. It refocuses that LED beam for your low and your high beams. Now this has the full safety sense with the radar adaptive cruise control. Your radar sensor is right here, and then you have a camera up here. Keep an eye on the lines on the road. Looking at the profile, it does have the body colored handles, the upper portion of the side mirrors, all body colored. Now this vehicle has had the windows tinted by the dealer, so it does have tinted windows, and the center pillar here is a matte black, kind of help solidify this glass. Now I have the front windows rolled down, so it doesn't really help, but you know, it does kind of solidify that. Now if it was a little bit more glossy or maybe a gloss black, it might help you know, blend in the glass with the pillar. There's also this gloss gray portion here at the base of the doors on the side of the vehicle, and this has the same color as the wheels here, so it blends in with the wheels but also the front grille as well. This is what the key looks like. It's just a standard key. It does have the remote lock and unlock and the ability to release the trunk and a panic button, but basically it has a physical key and a more traditional style as far as you know, you do have to use the buttons to unlock it and use the key to start it. Here's the inside of the passenger side door. So this is mostly black with some metallic accents here, but it does have a blue stitching, which is pretty cool. This is all soft touch here. This is like I don't know, like a synthetic Nerf type material, and then this is a vinyl, like a Softex vinyl here. The rest of the door is hard touch here. There's your controls, there's your handle, and then there's a bottle holder and then a storage area right in here. Quite a wide threshold area when you add this gray portion at the bottom. Kind of thickens this up a little bit, so you do have to step over that. Cloth black seats, manually adjusted, and here's some blue stitching on them as well. Lots of leg room here in the front. It's a really sharp angle dash. I don't know if you can see that. There's a glove compartment. Smooth plastic on the inside. This is a hard touch down here. Then you get into soft touch surfaces. And then this is kind of like rubbery soft there at the top. The back door doesn't swing out quite as wide as the front door. So not only do you have a larger opening here in the front, as far as the area to get in the front, the door swings out wide. But here in the back, you have a smaller opening and the door doesn't seem to swing out quite as wide, or maybe it just needs to swing out just a little bit more, I think, considering, but it's not bad. I mean, there's wide open right here as far as your headroom, and kind of open up that space, so it's a lot better than some other vehicles. So the inside of the back door, hard touch surfaces. So the only soft touch is this cloth material here around your armrest. And it's not super soft, but it is soft touch. There's a storage pocket in here. So it's basically a cloth bench seat back here with some mild bolstering. And then there's some cup holders with an armrest. You can move that up out of the way. Now the latch system for car seats has these little covers, which are going to get lost. So just keep that in mind. When you take them off, you just find a place for them, because they're just removable and they fall right off. There's a little storage area right in here. The back of only the passenger side has this pocket. The driver's side does not. And there's a slight hump there, well, pretty significant hump there on the center part. But overall, it's pretty good amount as far as legroom back here. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, here at the top there's a shark fin antenna that's body colored. Your brake light, the third brake light, is here at the base of the glass. It's powered by LEDs. Has a small deck lid spoiler here. Nothing too gaudy or anything. Nice, blends in well, and it is body colored. Now the tail lights are a combination of standard and LED bulbs. So the tail light themselves and the brake light are LED. The turn signal and reverse lights are all just standard bulbs. The backup camera is right in here, significantly offset. So when you put on the backup camera, you're going to see more of the tag, the one side of the tag than the other. So you're going to obviously see it's not in the center. It's not a huge deal in this particular vehicle, but would be nice to have it in the center. Here's the red SE badging. Pretty neat chrome exhaust tips here in the back. Simulated, or just kind of like stylish, not practical. Diffuser back here is what it's going for as far as the style goes. These are reflectors down here. Right in there is a reflector. So to open up the trunk, there's no button under here. So you reach in here, there's no button in this particular trim. So what we'll have to do is we're going to use the key. And it pops it up like so. I lift it up so you can see there's no button. Some people question me when I say that, because other trims do have a button. Alright, so we lift it up. It has carpeted underside of the trunk. Now, you see these arms, they're going to extend down into the trunk, so they're going to limit your cargo capacity to some degree. And here's your trunk space. Now I'll put all the specs and dimensions and everything and volumes and all that stuff in the description, so you can check it out if you like. But overall, it's pretty decent. For a vehicle this size, they really try to maximize the cargo area back here. And it has a tools and spare tire under here. Just a regular donut, but it does have it. This is just kind of like a thin piece of wood is what it feels like. But you notice under here there's a lot of exposed metal, so it's not all carpeted, and a lot of vehicles do this, but just keep this in mind when you're loading up stuff in here. If it extends up really high, there's a lot of sharp metal that could damage if you wedge your stuff in here too much, it could damage your stuff. Also, those arms extend down, which they're not sharp, but they do limit your cargo space. Now you can fold these seats down in a 60-40 split. And you see there's a split right here. So you can fold down this seat or the other seat, depending on your needs, to add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space when needed. The other way to open the trunk is this physical latch here. So the fuel door is locking, and it's on the driver's side, which is convenient. And it has a traditional cap, tether, and a place to hang the cap here on the inside of the door. Using the switchblade style key, we'll go ahead and start it up. This is the floorboard in front of the driver's seat, and you'll notice that the floor mat is not in place yet. The vehicle hadn't even been detailed yet. It hooks in place here and here. So that way it keeps it from sliding around on you and keeps it in place. Here's your accelerator and brake pedal and a nice big footrest here on the left side. Let's take a look under the hood. Open the hood, there's a latch right here in the very center. So right in here, let's reach in, move it to the left and lift up. So you can see there's your latch. It is kind of heavy hood, so it's probably a steel hood. And it does require a prop to hold it up. The prop is on the underside of the hood and it swings down to that arrow. The underside of the hood, there's no insulation or anything like that, but there is a seal around the back there. Kind of helps out with airflow and noise. You seal across the front as well. So looking at the engine compartment, the battery is over here. It's easy to get to. And there is quite a bit of heat shielding there in the back because the exhaust is in the back. And there's no plastic cover to cover up the engine, so you can actually see everything. So this is your coil packs here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a 4-cylinder engine, 2.0 liter 4-cylinder engine. And it's paired to a CVT, continuously variable transmission. Intake is here in the front, exhaust is in the back. So that way the exhaust kind of flows under, the heat buildup flows underneath the vehicle and doesn't interfere with the radiator or the cooling system here on the front, which is nice. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So all the power windows, you have one touch down in the back and one touch up in the back. So in the back and the front, it's all one touch up and down. The door locks are here, and then your side mirrors, you just pick a side, and then you can adjust it like a little joystick there. So manually adjusts the seats for the driver as well as the passenger, but the driver has a height adjustment. So you can adjust the seat height a little bit with that manual height adjustment. To the left of the steering column, you have some buttons here. So your dimmer switch for your interior gauges, and then there's an automatic high beam button. So you can turn on or off your automatic high beams, and it has a light there to let you know it's on. Steering column has a tilt and a telescoping steering column that you lock in place right here. I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out, and I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down. I'm 6 feet tall, just to give you an idea of the potential legroom here, and it's a little bit too far back for me. The angle of the footrest is a little off, and so I'd pull it up a little bit, but you can see the potential legroom here is pretty good. So you can see the accelerator in relationship to the center console is good. Now the footrest has this little bump here at the top part, so you know it does kind of like you don't get the, in my particular case I wear size 13, so the top part of my foot is against that bump at the top where the wheel well is, so it would be a little bit of an inconvenience over time, but just want to mention that. Okay, so the steering wheel, it's a leather wrap, probably a Softex type leather, synthetic leather wrapped steering wheel, and it's a little bit slippery, but not a huge deal. It's not super grippy, you know, you can slide your finger across it type deal, but it has good thickness and it is comfortable. I mean, it feels good. Has some grips here at the top, and the power steering is super smooth and easy to turn, so that's good. So the buttons on the steering wheel For one thing, it has paddle shifters here in the back, so you can change through simulated gear ratios. It doesn't have, it's have a CVT, so there's not actual gear ratios. But if you need to downshift, like you're going to, you know, go down a hill or something, and you need some engine braking, you do have control over the speed ratio. So the buttons on the steering wheel, you notice this part right here is separate from the top. So this is your volume for your radio, your voice recognition, mode is your audio source, and this changes through your tracks or your radio station, depending on what you're doing. Cruise control is here on the right side, so it has the adaptive cruise control. Once you turn it on, you can set, resume, and cancel. This is your lane keep assist. It actually is a little, it traces the lines, and also keeps an eye on the vehicle in front of you, so it doesn't wander too much. It does a pretty good job of following the road. So in this particular case, they call it lane tracing assist, and that's what the camera up here is for, to watch the lines. And this is your radar adaptive cruise control. So it'll set the distance. You can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you by pushing this button. And then that way it'll, you know, if you want a far distance or a little bit closer, depending on traffic, you can set it with that. You just push it and rest on the one you want. On the left side here, you have your phone for your Bluetooth system, so you can answer and hang up on calls here. These buttons, this OK and these arrows and this back button, all correspond with this little screen here on the right side. We'll get to that in just a minute. Windshield wiper controls are here, and to the left side is your turn signal, of course, but it also has your headlight controls. So it has DRL off, so if you want all your exterior lights off, you can turn them off. Automatic, parking, and headlights on. Alright, so looking at the gauges here, it has physical gauges here on the left side, so this is your RPMs, your tachometer, engine coolant temperature, your fuel gauge, and then your speedometer. On the right side is a little screen, and the screen has a digital speedometer. It's capable of one. You don't always have to have it if you don't want it. Outside temperature, a clock, and your you know, safety features there, and distance to empty, what gear you're in, and your trip odometer. So using these buttons here, there's the back button, arrows, and OK. Let's kind of cycle through. So if I scroll to the right, so you can see there's little icons up here. So I'm going to do that again. Scroll through the right, so you can see these icons there at the top. And this first one looks like a little leaf, and that's the one where you find the digital speedometer. Now if you scroll down on that leaf icon, you have more information as far as fuel economy and your eco indicator. We scroll to the right, so this will be your adaptive cruise control and your lane tracing assist information there. Scrolling to the right again, you have trip, so distance and time is there, so that way you can keep track of your time and distance during that particular trip. And then this will be your safety features. You can go through here, your settings, you can go into your vehicle settings as well. Alright, we'll get back out of that. And then the last one will be stored messages. And then it goes back to the beginning with the information there. So you notice there's a little trip there at the bottom. There's a button here, so we can reset the trip. So you can push that, hold it, and reset it. Push it again, there's trip A, trip B, and then the odometer. So trip A can be reset independently from trip B, or you could just display the odometer using this button here. There's the key. Okay, so we have a little glare on the camera. It's visible, it's fine as far as the glare goes with my eyes, but the camera makes it look worse. It's not so bad. So when we push this button, that's the home button. So this is a touch screen, but it also has physical buttons here on the outside. So the home is a combination of, you know, your fuel economy information, like a trip computer type thing, your phone information, and whatever your radio is doing here. Let's go ahead and push menu. Now when we're in the home, if we want to just hit that, it'll go straight to, say, your radio or whatever, right? So they're kind of shortcuts as well. So let's go ahead and push menu. This gives you the main menu options. So you have audio, phone, apps, projection. So that would be, projection is typically your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay capability. You have to plug in your phone. But let's go to audio here. So your presets here at the bottom. And you can change your audio source. AM, FM, satellite radio, Bluetooth, and USB are all here. We can adjust the sound here. So let's go back to the menu. Your phone, you can pair your phone there. Apps, we can hit that. And you can set up like a Wi-Fi hotspot or whatever. Let's go to information. So this will be information about the vehicle as far as fuel economy. And let's go back out of that. Vehicle alert history, there hasn't been any alerts. And then you can go into your setup and adjust your Bluetooth, pair phones, general. This will be all things you set up when you first get the vehicle, that kind of stuff. Your audio, your phone, your Intune app suite, so you can actually download and put apps on the screen here, and your Wi-Fi if you want to set that up. Alright, so there's some physical buttons here for your apps, your phone, seek through your tracks. There's a physical volume knob, and there's tune through the stations. Now you notice there's this map button. When we push that, you see it says it's not installed. Now your dealership can install this, from what I understand, and add navigation, but it's not, it's not available, when you buy the vehicle. So there's your four-way flashers. So this is your climate control. So let's go ahead and turn it on. There's the off button there. So you have temperature, fan speed, where you want the air to blow, and then you have recirculate the air. And it gives you indicators here like temperature, where the air is blowing now. Let's go ahead and turn that fan down. Front and rear defrosters. And then you have an eco mode, which will cut back on the intensity of your climate control, but give you a little bit better fuel economy. I mean, just a little tiny bit. So something to consider there. And you notice this is all gloss black, so you won't need to have like a microfiber cloth on hand to keep this clean, all your fingerprints, because you will be getting fingerprints all over it. Okay, so right in here, there's a storage compartment. And then there's your USB input for plugging in your phone. Alright, so here's the shifter, and you'll notice right here there's a sport mode, and then there's a traction control off button. So to turn off your traction control, you push that button, because default will be on. And you only need to do this if you want to spin tires. Sport mode will emphasize performance over fuel economy, so it's like the opposite of eco mode. Alright, so here's a shifter. We put it in reverse, and it'll pop up the backup camera here, and it has static guidelines. So you'll notice that the offset backup camera makes it to where you can see more of one side than the other, so you want to keep that in mind while you're backing up. So you can see the end of the vehicle over here, but you notice it kind of trails off on that side, and you see more of the tag on that side than here. There's neutral, drive, and then it has a manual mode. So remember the paddle shifters. This is basically the same thing, except for it's a ratchet shifter. So you can increase or reduce your speed ratio by bumping it like this. And it simulates gears. Alright, this is awesome. This is your electronic parking brake, and it automatically engages and disengages. So when I put it in park, it engages, and it engages the rear wheels. When I put it in drive, it immediately disengages. So you always have a parking brake on without any effort, which is nice. Now the brake hold feature, once this is on, you will be able to come to a complete stop at a stoplight or whatever in traffic, and it'll hold the brake for you until you push the accelerator. So if you don't want to sit there holding the brake the whole time, technically you can let your foot off the brake and it'll hold the vehicle for you. Alright, and there's your cup holders. Now there's no you know, spring-loaded little or foam or anything in here. So when you put a cup or something in there, if it's kind of smaller, like a water bottle or something, it's going to bounce around. It's nothing to keep it steady. There's your armrest. It's technically soft touch surface, but it bottoms out like 2 millimeters below the surface. So although it is soft to the touch, I mean, it's like hard as, it feels like you lay like a washcloth over an anvil. That's what it feels like. But it is soft touch, and it's not that bad. I mean, you're resting your arm on it. Okay, so this lifts up like so. And there is a 12-volt power supply and a USB charger in here, and places for wires to go in and out of this compartment. And it goes in there quite a ways. And there's like this felt liner. Now you notice it's black. It's black in here. And this felt liner is black. Now if this was a lighter color, you can see in here a little bit better. But of course, once you put stuff in here, then it's going to diminish that. But at least you'll be able to see something, see a little bit better than just the dark abyss sometimes it looks like. Now this will drop on you, so there's nothing to hold it up. So if you let it go, it just drops. If you lift it up, it kind of snaps in place, but once you get below that, it drops on you. Has a manual day and night mode for the rear view mirror. You have some reading lights here. You can turn on all the interior lights by pushing that button, or you can have them turn on with the door. There's an emergency button here, a little cover to cover it up. The visors have like a vinyl wrapping on them. It's kind of interesting, textured. There's a light here. The headliner is a, it's like a canvas type material. Smoother than that. I mean, it's not like that rough or anything, but it's not the same as the visor. Alright, so you have a mirror and the light turns on. There's an extension here, so it adds to your coverage. Does not slide. Basically the same thing for the passenger side. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. It does have some pillars back there, but not bad. I mean, it's not bad at all. Your passengers will be the variable, of course, and then you have the headrest there. But it does have the backup camera to help you out. And it's not a huge vehicle, so you can look over your shoulder, look in the mirror, side mirrors, and the rearview mirror. It's okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's pretty typical, actually. Those side pillars are a little bit wide, but not a big deal. Okay, so thank you for watching, and thank you to Sparks Toyota here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'll see you guys next time.